Hello, everybody. It was a great Quizzy Monday tonight. 3 very, very close matches. We had a tiebreaker in Mastermind. We almost had a tiebreaker in Only Connect. We haven't quite managed it this season, but 1 point there. And it went down to the final starter in University Challenge to see who would win that particular match. So it was really exciting, and I'm delighted that we will have from the Video Nasties, Lewis, who is no stranger to this channel, of course, and Harry Solomons from the Solomons to chat through Only Connect. We might have a University Challenge guest later, but we might not. We will see. We'll play that by ear. It depends quite how much post-quiz hubbub is going on in her life. But we have fine contestants to be chatting to, lots to cover tonight. And of course, we'll have the nominations for Quizzer and Team of the Week at the end. We'll update you on the Masterminds prediction game where there's been some movement at the top. Loads to fit in tonight. And I'm going to try not to talk for too long. Valerie is being dubious about this because I say this every week, but we will try and keep it shorter and snappier. Don't forget that you can chip in the chat. Catherine is there. Evening. Gerard saying, I hope Pam got all the bird call questions tonight on University Challenge. I wouldn't bet against her. Steve, hi all. Martin, hi all. And Claire, hi all. Yes, a nail-biting evening. So fantastic. Now let's just run through a few little bits and bobs before we get going. We are experimenting with shorts. We've done a few shorts based on last week's Quizzy Monday show. So we'll be putting those out, and we might be doing a few other things with the videos from Quizzy Monday to make them more bite-sized. So look out for those. But these ones are going great guns at the moment. They only went out like last night and today. So look out for those on YouTube. And yes, it is still nearly Christmas, and we are still plugging our cheesy Quizmas design, which you can get on t-shirts and on mugs. Go to tinyurl.com/ATQ store for that and other quiz merch, including things like Only Connect, if you love Only Connect. Last week's What is a Question competition, Pond was the answer. The winner was this one from Only Connect alumna Katrina Austin. According to DEFRA, what normally has an area of less than 2 hectares may dry out for periods in the summer and lacks areas deep enough that sunlight cannot penetrate. Size-dependent grants of £282.15 or £188.94 per 100 square meters are available for creating or restoring. I wish we'd known that when we dug our pond. Anyway, well done, Katrina. This is the answer for this week. We released it on Sunday. It's South. We've had 25 or so questions submitted, and you can now vote on the long list at tinyurl.com/WITQ South. And of course, as ever on Wednesday, we will release the short list to try and find the winner. So, after that gallop through the news, let us bring on Lewis and Harry. Evening, all.
Hello.
Good evening.
Well, tonight was a night of thrills and spills in the quiz world.
Stressful.
I mean, you talk about stressful. Watching it back, knowing what happened, does it kind of bring back all those kind of rush of endorphins and adrenaline and terror?
Yeah. I had a panic attack this morning, and that was the second most stressful thing I've done today. It was. That's not even a joke. That's true. It was. I don't know how you felt, Harry. I was going. Did I imagine we won? Did I? Yeah. I just. I couldn't. There was a point where I was like, how do we win from here? I have no idea how we win from here.
I'm going to be honest. I knew we'd lost. I've been preparing myself all day. You know.
And it's a little bit cruel. Like last week, it was a rematch of an earlier game. When was it broken to you that you would be playing each other once again?
Was it? I think was this on the? I can't remember, but I remember being like, I was seeing you guys at breakfast. Did we see you first?
I think so. Well, I'd been sort of like studying endlessly that spreadsheet they sent through, being like, the winner of this plays the winner of this, and the loser of this plays the loser of this. And I'd worked out that we were gonna play the loser of you against, I think it was the Mercians.
Yeah.
And we'd been in the studio when the Mercians had their first round game, and they set a new record. So we were like, we'll either we're playing you again, who beat us fairly comprehensively in the first round, or we're playing a team that almost set a record for the highest score.
Yeah.
So I might have packed fewer outfits than I did the first part.
And when it turned out to be Video Nasties, Harry, having lost previously, does that kind of weigh on your mind that actually you're going into studio, you know exactly how good that team is? You know, is that kind of preying on you, or does it make you kind of more zen about the whole thing?
Almost a little zen. I think it was an advantage that we knew the other team, because I think the atmosphere, I'm not sure if you noticed this, Lewis, but it felt like the atmosphere was a bit more chilled.
I definitely got it. Yeah.
I mean, up until the final round, but like before then, it felt a lot more friendly than matches. Not saying that either you in the first heat or the volunteers who we played in our second heat were all very, very friendly, but there's that level of familiarity that wasn't there the first time through.
Yeah, I totally agree. Both on just a like we're in the studio, we know how it works sort of feeling, but also I just remember being very chilled and sort of just happy. Like I think I said it in the intro. Like I like you guys so much that I was annoyed to be playing you, but I couldn't. If it meant you guys progressed, I would be happy because and that's genuine. I don't know why they cut it out because I thought it was a good line, but at the end of me saying that in the intro, I did say there was plenty of teams in this competition I would love to beat. And that was very true. And I was annoyed that to get through we had to beat you guys. But yeah, you're right. It felt a little bit more chill and calm. And I think we all played like that. And you guys just grew into that match so well. And yeah, that onslaught towards the end was just it's unbelievable. I'm still stressed. I need to take something because I feel.
And I know it was definitely one of those matches where, as a viewer, not knowing what happened and having kind of, I've seen enough matches to kind of think how I know how this season's going to play out. And then, one round through the missing vowels, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
This could be a real shock for kind of my presumptuousness. Ed's put a comment in the chat. Tonight was one of those days I was disappointed teams can't agree to both go through and have a 3-team match or a 6-person mega team in the next round. Oh God, only connect super teams. That'd be pretty good. What's this from Jack? Lewis pointing at us on the
yeah, take these guys.
So you play each other again. When I was on in season 10, I've got half a mind that they kind of shuffled the order, that we were meant to be playing a team for the second time, and they kind of mixed it up so there wouldn't be repeats. Would you have found that unfair, that maybe it would feel like it was advantaging or disadvantaging teams? Is it better to just have it laid out as it is, or just variety, different matchups?
I think variety is better. Like as I said, like obviously I was delighted to spend more time with these guys. So that was, and I was, as much as I was annoyed that only one of us could go through. I think variety probably just makes more sense, right? To see, particularly because it's not like if it's like Euro 2004 and the same team's playing the same and last match. That's fine. That makes sense. But for it to be that we both played 3 games and 2 of those games have been the same, though weirdly we were sitting on the other side of the studio for both. I still don't understand why. It doesn't seem ideal, but I'm sure there's a production reason for it. I'm sure.
I think I'd echo that as well. It would have been nice to because we only really met you and the volunteers. We didn't really meet any of the other teams, and so it would have been nice, I think, to get to know a few more people.
Yes, that's it.
By playing against them. And also, if we played another team, maybe we would have won. So,
and maybe you might have met in the final, as opposed to whatever round this was. And I lose track. Maybe it's the quarters, but who knows?
It's a 3rd round, but it's weird, isn't it? Because not everyone does it.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call that. Yeah, repechage-ish.
Anyway, whatever it was, it did treat us to a fantastic match. Round 1, though, Harry, you must have been thinking, oh, God, history is repeating itself here, because Video Nasties very much hit the ground running in that round.
Yeah, I mean, looking back at it, our questions, I still wouldn't really have got them. I think nothing is going to convince me that wasn't a photo of Anthony Costa. when was it Dane Bowers showed up?
Dane Bowers from another level. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
But I totally see where you were coming from. Like, it totally made sense.
I doubted myself, to be honest, because I saw it immediately and went Dane Bowers, and then as soon as you said Anthony Costa, it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I was noting down something different. Yeah.
But seeing at that point, you guys really hit the ground running and like started building up that lead early, and that was the point. It's like it almost took a bit of the pressure off because I mean, one thing you can say about Only Connect is there isn't that much interplay between the teams. I mean, there's the bonuses and you've got the buzzers at the end, but otherwise, like you guys being good wasn't necessarily affecting our score directly. So you guys being really far in the lead, meant that we could kind of just focus on getting a good score ourselves without having to worry about, you know, how it was going head to head.
Yeah.
Good way
Lewis, from your side of things, going to plan at that point, really, isn't it?
Yeah, good. You know, obviously, if you get a couple of pickups, it's always good. But you know, we knew that was a bit of luck from us. I thought, that the one with the pitches, that I think it was one of those ones where you make earlier on you make a wrong decision and then that sets you down the wrong path with the rest of them. Whereas, like, if you'd not thought Anthony Costa, you wouldn't have tried to make something with that. Like if you just seen Dame Edna, I think you would have maybe gone with something like that. It's one of those ones I see it all the time in Connections League. And then picking up that sitcoms one, which I think, you know, we got it right and picked it up. I still really don't know the middle two clues at, you know, spam. Yeah, sure. As everyone that knows me will tell you, I am obsessed with Wayne's World and saying "not" all the time. So that, you know, that was in my area. But the middle two, I had no, you know, I thought it was amazing that Jack even knew that the Lurgy one came from a 1950. You know, he's done some work to try and learn stuff from the past. Because it does insist on coming up all the time in quizzes. But yeah, like the other one, I thought was, you know, one of those. And yeah, it was tough, but we were glad to be scoring points. But we also knew that I think in both our previous two games, round two had not been as good for us. So we were just happy to be scoring because basically the game gets gradually worse for us as we go along through it, and it's trying to build a big points lead to have it be eaten away as we tire.
Yeah. Gerard's putting in the dreaded lurgy was the goons, wasn't it? And
yeah, I think it was.
Now it explains. I've always known the term the dreaded lurgy, but my dad was a big Goons show fan, so now I know that he was just the equivalent of basically me in the 90s going "Nat" and you now in terms of just parroting a pop culture reference. So yeah, good on him. I thought it was a nice round, and I really liked the marks question, the construction of that.
Yeah, I thought that was lovely. Really nice.
And you got that so early, Harry, as well, on two clues. That was a really good get. I mean, did you feel at that point that you kind of had to go for it the way the round was going, or was it just absolute certainty we'd nailed this?
I think that was one of the ones where when it clicks, you know it. I think as soon as I realised, I think I got it from benchmark as a standard. Watching it back on TV, I knew the answer. I hadn't gotten it by the time I buzzed. So I don't know what it is about being in the studio. I think, you know, your mind goes somewhere else.
Yeah.
And you're sort of in the zone. But like, yeah, on TV. But once it clicks, I think it was just like, oh, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And so I felt pretty confident in the buzz early. I think that's the way it is with word ones.
Yeah, definitely. And it was that thing of maybe you can't always know it from the first clue because the construction is weird. But then when you see the pattern of the second one, and you could see that what you guys working out on the show, and you go, oh yeah, I followed that pattern, put it on the other clue. I thought it was a lovely construction, and you did. It was good, really good to get that for 3. I think.
I also loved the music one. You got Hughes Corporation, really nice and early. Rise by Public Image Limited is one of my favorite songs. So, you know, it was like, and I love that moment at the end where Nina kind of got Bad Company. It was just a really nice.
I thought that was the hardest clue. That was the only song I didn't know.
Right.
Like I don't think I'd have necessarily known Hughes Corporation as quickly as Jack did, but I didn't know that Bad Company song at all. Whereas obviously the other 3 are absolute bangers. Yeah, interesting one. I was really glad to get 3 points on a music question because obviously Victoria normally acts like it's the most miraculous thing that anyone's ever done when they even get 1 point on a music question. think she was a bit light on her praise, though. I would like more praise for it. I'm only here for praise. I don't know if I've mentioned it before. But I enjoyed getting it early because it's nice. I forget that sometimes they do then play the other music clues because, I mean, why wouldn't you want to hear lip sync?
Yeah. I mean, the only reason why they wouldn't play, of course, is they have to pay somebody. But if they've got the performing rights anyway,
they've got the whole thing, yeah.
So 7-3 at the end of the first round. We've got some Goon Show madness going on in the chat. I do a great blunge my music on because people were doing impressions. Yeah, Catherine says dreaded lurgy sort of mass Goon Show character impersonations here. This is one for the kids, isn't it? He's falling in the water. I mean,
this may as well be in Latin to me. This is nothing.
Well, have we got Rambling Sid Rumpo was on Brain of Britain, so a good week for old comedy. And Michael, of course. Bad Company, rightly the fourth clue due to having a lead singer from Middlesbrough, never not representing his hometown quite correctly. Well done there, Michael. 7-3, but in the back of your mind then, Lewis, you've struggled a bit more in round two, and that kind of was the story of round two, wasn't it? Whereas the flip side was the Solomons all of a sudden. You're coming into your own. It's like the tortoise and the hare. Harry, what did you make of that second round?
I mean, I think honestly it was the way the questions felt. I think a lot of the questions that you guys got, we wouldn't have really stood a chance. And even the ones we got were a couple of quite lucky grabs. I hadn't worked out the World Cup sequence one. I just kind of guessed at Mbappe because I knew he'd been in the two finals.
Yeah.
And I knew that it being a fourth clue moving forward in time, it's going to be something very recent.
Yes.
Probably. And then
but that's you were playing the meta game there, and that's sometimes what you have to do, and worked out perfectly.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we just got quite fortunate with how they fell that round.
I mean, it can go that way, when there's only 6 questions and, it can fall your way. But you still got to put the points away. There's an interesting one from Michael here. Had the Pele one for 5, but would have spent 40 seconds agonizing if there was someone between Breitner and Zidane. You can spot the sequence, but it's quite another one to make sure you're certain that you've got that final one in the list, and you're not going to basically throw points across the table.
Well, what I'd worried about there mostly was that when the first clue comes up and it says Pele, and it was really obvious on TV, I just turn my back on my sister and just lean in to Dad, and you can just see Naomi just takes a seat back and just starts drinking her water, and I was like, this is gonna come across quite poorly.
Good job you weren't on University Challenge. You would have been
enslaved
by Twitterati for that one. But to have to say, I didn't notice it myself. I think maybe because with Only Connect, when you're watching, you're also going through the thought process yourself and trying to. So I kind of pay slightly less attention to kind of the body language and stuff like that.
I think that's true.
I'm too focused selfishly on whether I'm going to get the question right or not. But one thing I was disappointed with, Harry, and you, Lewis, so, slap on the wrist. Nobody sang Snooker Loopy when you had an opportunity, and surely that is obligatory.
I mean, I sing it at nearly every, especially if a question comes up like you guys had, that you need to remember the colours of the snooker balls. That is how I remember it. But I assume Mark has some sort of power where he just remembers them rather than having to think about the matchroom more.
I think for him it was he heard 4 brown, and then just the connection formed instantly. He was like, "Oh, that's snooker then." It was
really interesting how it really clicked for him. But as we know, he likes his snooker. It's not the first time that's been useful for you in this tournament.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a lovely question.
I quickly want to wreck on that because the was it the Ray Reardon?
Yeah.
That wasn't useful to us. The question had nothing to do with him.
That's true. That is, looking back at it wasn't it? Funny. Very funny.
A lovely one from Video Nasties was the Toy Story villains, which I think Nina got credited with on the show. I mean, that was just a great get, because Gabby could be anything, couldn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, you never get. Gabby had Bong Lahore. That was my first thought. No. Yeah, I was really happy with that one. And I was happy when something like that question was used in Connections League recently. It helped me get it quite early in the host game. But yeah, I thought that was some good stuff. You know, we like our film stuff, and it sort of made up for us not getting the Aladdin question in our first game against you guys. We know about Disney. We can get it. We were happy to get that. I thought the best answer in that second round was the Azuma one.
Yes.
I thought that was so, and that's when I look back on our entire run on the show. That's the answer that I think about as being like, I never would have got that. Just like two things. Maybe I should be on more trains. I don't know. Enjoy the Azuma service.
Yeah, well, the Azuma one, I went to uni in Edinburgh, so the London to Edinburgh train is where that line runs. And then Zuma from Paw Patrol just lived somewhere in just the deepest recesses of my mind, and I have no idea where that came from, but it was there.
It was incredible.
And then there was that beautiful full circle of coming up with Ma Rainey as well, having had Ma Rainey earlier on, which was really nice.
That was really fun.
I mean, there was one, I don't know, Lewis, it looked like there was a little bit of edge between you and Victoria when there was the explaining that kind of Fourth Day Murder Club answer and the connection. It was like,
I think she's just, I think she's enjoying her bit this season. I like that she's chosen one bit for the entire series, and pretending that is not a real TV, not a real book, is fine. Great. That was maybe the most frustrating part of us being on the show, was the amount of time we our friend Danny Lardner has just been going. There's going to be there's been a fourth book out. I think maybe the book wasn't out, but they'd released a fourth title, and we were just like, yeah, there has to be. There actually has to be it. And then that first clue comes up, and it's like we just didn't understand the construction of it. Basically, like we know what Sunday is, but we just and we could even work out that the fourth day would be Thursday. But it was just, I have not heard of any of those other books, even slightly. So yeah, we were lucky. It was first thought, best thought. And maybe we should have gone for it earlier, because Jack was going, it has to be it. But I was just taking the extra clues. So I was like, I do not know what this means. I do not know what this is referring to. And even when we answered, I think, I assumed it was something that's in the book, because I've still not read the copy that my mum got me for Christmas 2019.
Shocking.
I know.
But, who reads fiction nowadays? Unless it gets nobody's going to, ask points from the book, are they? You only need to know the title.
Exactly.
2 points in the lead then, Video Nasties going into the wall, which kind of is, it's anybody's game, actually. And as it turned out, that the thing could swing, because you were first up on the wall, Lewis. Yeah. And it didn't go your way.
No, our first not full one. I think our mistake was, and it's what you guys did brilliantly, Harry, was that you saw. I like it when we both will share an element. I do like that. It's always good to see. And thinking about it, those new cities, again, it's a new thing that's happened since the last season of the show. Of course, they're going to use it at some point, so we should have thought about that. But the fact that we just didn't see that until much later on meant that we weren't circling that when we had a million lives to do it. And who the hell's heard of the song "Welcome to Milton Keynes"? Who's heard of the phrase "Welcome to Milton Keynes"?
I live near Milton Keynes.
That surely is a curse in some languages.
Yeah, no, I live near Milton Keynes, so you do pick up these things. Alas.
That was just it was just bad luck about how it fell. But I think we did all right to get points. I think if you look at our other walls, we're pretty rapid on getting something on the board straight away.
Yeah.
Whereas here we saw Busters reasonably quickly, and then it took us a while to see anything else. And I think we tried to get Rivers, but then I noticed things ending in different sorts of field,
which was a really good get, because Rivers sidetracked me. Even whilst you'd spotted the endings piece, I was still trying to make Rivers work. Yeah, because I was so fixated. No, there's two of them. It must be.
Especially with Rivers, because there can be so many rivers you've just not heard of, and they don't have to be English rivers. And there's names like Ob for river. It could be any Po. Those could be rivers. So with such short things being famous rivers, they could easily be hidden in words. I'm glad that we didn't get stuck on that. And yeah, then it left us with those two. And then yeah, we maybe should have seen New Cities earlier. But yeah, and then you could be welcome to they're all places, and you could be welcome to a place. So it was yeah, it was tough to then work out at that point. Yeah, and then as your dad saying the thing, is Star Council fan. I love the Star Council. That's just not sadly not one I know. Maybe I should listen to other songs rather than just Walls Come Tumbling Down and Shout to the Top.
Which is a tune.
Yeah, they're very good. I love Weller.
Indeed. And hi, Mark, in the chat. Good to have you in the chat. So 6 points. You know at that point, okay, you've not kind of guaranteed your lead going in, but equally you also know you're not going to be a million miles behind, depending on what happens to the Solomons on their wall. Harry, you go in 2 points behind, knowing that actually, there could be a swing here. Talk us through your wall.
I think, we saw the new cities very early, but there were enough red herrings in there that I think we didn't. It took us a while to lock that in. The Matthews one, I really had to lean on Dad for knowing who some of them were. The one that's going to stay with me, that's going to upset me for the rest of my life, is that I didn't spot Flat Stanley.
Legend.
Flat Eric means nothing to me. Flat Stanley is sort of like a pillar of my childhood.
Place in your heart.
Indeed.
Yeah. And to not have seen that, I think that's the one I got the most messages about. It's like, how did you not spot Flat Stanley?
And I move over Paddington. Flat Stanley deserves a movie. Flat Stanley
was his whimsical movie.
Ah, brilliant.
I think about him being put in an envelope once a week. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, who wouldn't love a character that does that? It was tricky though, because there were lots of different, flat fee, flat roof. It kind of, it wasn't obvious, it has to be said. And Stanley being, for a long time you'd be thinking it's in the cities group as well. It was,
and then also Stanley Matthews as well. So it was a double red herring.
Three. Yeah. That's rare. I think that's really good.
Gerard saying Flat Stanley is a real nostalgia. Jerl, is that a term?
Jerk.
Oh, jerk. Well, I thought that was a term that the kids were using, like peng or something that means nothing to me. I don't even think the kids are using that now. I've only just caught on. But yes, Claire, Flat Stanley and Flat Eric went completely over my head. Pop culture references could do that, can't they? Oh, that's not a comment about Claire. That's just me clicking the wrong thing. And over Mark's head as well, obviously. So 7 points, 17-18, going into missing vowels, and Solomons started like a train. Erased that deficit within the first question and moved ahead. Harry, had you discussed how you were going to play it? Was there just aggression on your mind, or was it just, hey, we're just spotting them and we're in?
I honestly don't know. I mean, it's difficult to say. I think there's not much room for strategizing in missing vowels because it's on the scale of milliseconds.
If you have a huge lead, that's the only time you can. Sometimes, and sometimes it happens in Connections League that someone's 10 points ahead. They go, don't touch it. Just don't touch it. But I think otherwise you just got to go for it, right? And I was scared. Watching back, it was terrifying. It was terrifying how good you were in that first one. It was just, blew me away.
It was also Naomi got the first one as well, which I think really helped for us because that was just like immediately it took a bit of the pressure off me and Dad, and we were just like, right, we're in now.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah, leveling the scores right from the off. It's like deficit erased. Now you just have to be one better than the opposition. I guess, but that goes both ways, doesn't it? You just have to be one better. But momentum can play a big role. When you win that first one 3-1, that can,
good time.
Can make a difference.
Yeah, and I think Harry, you were right with saying earlier because most of the game state is it's not zero sum. Your thing that you do does not affect the other team so much. Because the fact it completely changes that your point means it's also their negative point, and they can't get that point back. That you're right, it can just completely change the pace and a bit of rhythm. And I looking back at it, I'm just so proud, particularly of Jack and Nina. I think they did brilliant work. to get us back into it and to not lose our heads a bit, because when you're coming under a battering like that and there's so many points coming at you so quickly, it's tough, it's stressful. I'm stressed. I'm thinking about it. I'm stressed. I watched it on telly an hour ago. I'm still stressed about
it. I mean, what was critical was clearly buying a lot of stuff from petrol stations over the years. In your team, it just kind of, it's, oh yeah, I not only know what this is, I could tell you where to find it in my local.
Jack's the only one of us that drives, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure how. I think Nina got a couple of those. She does love buying things, so maybe it's that, but not normally. Normally classier than a petrol station.
I'm just delighted I got a microwavable hamburger. I'm a happy man.
That was my favourite clue of the night, I think, in the vows. Though someone called Baker and a baker was my favourite group. I thought that was really fun selection.
Yeah. No, the microwavable hamburger one, a better answer to get than a thing to eat, but nonetheless.
Yeah. Certainly.
And unusually, we don't always get to a fourth set, and sometimes you only get one. But we did get 2 answers in, and I think you got the penultimate one, didn't you? I think, Lewis, in that set, which kind of in hindsight sealed the deal. But did either of you know when the gong went what the score was?
No,
not a clue. I was pretty confident we'd lost, but I thought we'd lost by quite a bit more.
Okay.
I think you notice it more when the other team get them, because as soon as the buzzer goes and it's not you, all you can do is watch for the couple of seconds.
It becomes like a confirmation bias thing, right? It's just that's the one we should have got, we didn't get. Yeah, you're totally right. I didn't have a clue. I thought we'd lost it. I was massively surprised. I think you see that on my face at the time. It was just after 2 1-point games in a row. Not good for me old heart.
Not good for the old ticker, but you're still in the tournament, Lewis. Harry,
just alive.
Alas, you're out. Your team's been fantastic to watch, and tonight, no difference. What's your kind of takeaway from the Only Connect experience?
I really loved it. I think I had more fun than I think I was expecting to. I knew it was going to be. I expected it to be more intense. I think I didn't expect it to be as sort of welcoming and sort of very. There was a lot of like camaraderie behind the scenes. That might have just been because we were playing very, very nice teams the entire time. If we played against a team with a bit more sort of like venom to them, then it might have been a bit more brutal.
On this season, absolute bastards. Pam, danger, absolute danger. She is.
It was a lot of fun, definitely. And the main problem with us going out early is that we would have loved to do another one.
That is the worst thing about that experience ending. Whenever it ends, it's that we might not get to do this again. That's the worst feeling that you get with Only Connect from my experience.
I think though, for these guys, I don't think any team's ever been more nailed on for a holiday special. Like Victoria, just from day one, just clearly absolutely loved you guys. So I think you'll probably be back, which will be nice.
Well, fingers crossed. If we get the invite, it'll be a yes. But we are yet to get an invite.
Let's wait till April, May. Let me know.
Claire's saying the takeaway, surely the microwavable hamburger. Every time you see a microwavable hamburger now, Harry, that's going to bring the memories back. And Claire is saying, there's Cockle. Connections Online Quiz League. If you don't know, it's basically Only Connect without having to be watched by 3 million people.
It's legally distinct.
Yes, it is. They don't have walls, they have grids. They don't have missing vowels, they have only consonants, don't they?
Season 6 is just finishing. Season 7 will start in February. Registration will be open.
Go to quizcentral.net if you want to play. And Gerard is saying, I have to leave here at 10:15 for a Cockle match. Gerard, there's probably at least an hour to go after that on their replacement. No, we are going to be done by. I'm getting evils from Valerie. We are going to be done by then. Lewis, your final thought on the show, your highlights.
Just meeting these guys. Like, honestly, just like 3 of just the most nice, funny. Like like being friends with Mark on Facebook. Like just every day, pretty much, he'll post something that makes me laugh. which is great. I really just, yeah, 3 wonderful, enjoyable people. I'm tearing up a bit.
You know he's watching this, right?
Yeah, I know.
Don't say it, mate. You're just encouraging him.
Honestly, I love it. Yeah, just 3 wonderful people. It's been a pleasure to play against them, and to know them now. And I hope friends on the internet forever now, because we've bonded together through the magic of television. The other thing is it's too stressful. Don't go on telly; it's horrid. But honestly, and I agree with Harry's sentiments that. And Naomi posted similarly on Twitter. I think I retweeted it if you want to see it. That it is just such a lovely experience. And I spoke to people about this at the weekend, even like that. People coming up to me and asking about it. And yeah, 100%. It's just the nicest people in the world to make this show. It's a really, I think it's a special thing anyway. It's mad. Like after our last episode, Paddy Duffy, who works in telly, sent me some of the that day's television stats, and it was like the most watched thing on the channel that day, and it was like the 8th most watched thing at all. And like this, it would be that was just a regular Monday. This isn't the same thing. It would just be another regular Monday where, for some reason, this bizarre TV show has millions of viewers, and it's a real joy to be part of that, part of the community, and to have so many people to go, yeah, you've been great on this. It's been really fun. The people have been great, and I think it's true of every single team. We say every week, Gareth, that the casting has been so good this season. And it really has, and it's just the greatest joy, and I love it.
And the only downside from tonight's show, as Pam says, no tie break though.
Pretty happy about that, mate. All right.
If you're thinking it was stressful with a 1 point game. Anyway, Gerard, good point here. I got so involved in the chat, I almost forgot to like.
You simply have to like.
You do like, and if you're not subscribed, subscribe. We are getting close to 2,000 people. It'd be lovely if we could have 2,000 subscribers by Christmas. What a present that would be. So yeah, like and subscribe. Harry, thanks so much for coming on. It's been a delight watching you and your team. Send our best. Well, Mark, you're somewhere in there in the chat, and also to Naomi. It's been wonderful watching you, and let's hope you do pop up on a special at some point. So yeah, thanks for coming.
No problem. Thank you for having me on.
Now we are going to watch a couple of videos, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Mastermind. We'll look at the predictions competition, and then we'll talk about University Challenge. We may or may not have a guest to talk about UC, but we will just we will crack on. So let's see what I'm going to play. Let's start with this one. There's so much going on in the quiz world, it can be really hard to keep on top of it all. Let us do it for you with the All Things Quiz newsletter. News from All Things Quiz and from the wider world of quiz delivered to your inbox every Tuesday. Sign up at allthingsquiz.com or scan this QR code. Have you been waiting for a range of quiz merchandise to come on the market? Then wait no more. Whatever type of quizzer you are, whether you're a flashcarder, or you quiz with pride, or want to celebrate great quizzes like Millionaire Champions, or Bill McCaig, the king of 15 to 1, or your favourite TV shows, or even your favourite YouTube channel, where do you go? The answer's loading. It's tinyurl.com/ATQ store. There you go, just in time for Christmas. tinyurl.com/ATQ store. Lewis is still with us, and thanks again to Harry. And again, thanks to Gerard for mentioning the like button, and also Catherine for acting on it. Well done. Mastermind this evening. Ollie Hansen, Angela Hawke, Scott Dalgleish, Tom DeSalis, an interesting mix of subjects. What was really interesting, somebody mentioned, interesting to me because I'm nerdy like that, is that Tom Waits has done songs, or at least a song, for a Martin McDonagh film, which could have been a crossover between.
Interesting.
Alas, not. But the let me actually just bring this up. These were the most predicted answers. 6-shooter Jenny came up. The donkey from Banshees of Inisherin, Cutterball, well, Brendan Gleeson. Star is Born came up. Algonquin came up. Constant Reader, The Fan. Then we have Bob Dole, Geraldine Ferrara, Ross Pro, Tim Kane. I don't think any of that did. Crystal Gale did. for Tom Waits. Nighthawks at the Diner, 1 from Hart, Small Change. So we had some good scorers tonight. Top of which was Emma Napper.
Wow.
6 points. Well done to Emma. You get 1 point if you get it correct, 2 points if it's unique, 3 points for a general knowledge get. Nobody got a general knowledge one, but Emma scored heavily.
Huge.
Ed Mason did well. Pam did well again, 3 points. Chris Dyson in the chat, Michael McPartland, Steve Oldham, all in the chat, got points, which means the table now looks like this. We have a tie at the top, Philip Isaac and Ed Mason. I think Ed had a bit of a comeback this week, didn't he? Having lost the lead, but Emma is moving ominously within range. But there's Pam, Toby Taller. There's a lot of weeks, 13 weeks gone. It's 31 week season, so 18 weeks to go. So well done to those. And next week's subjects are the New York subway system, the Oceans film. I assume
yes,
11.
I applied for this for the next week. I put that down, so that's annoying.
Yeah, well, you ain't going to be doing that.
That's a real shame.
But yes, the Ocean film, the Easter Rising, and the novels of Donna Tartt. I assume there's more than. Oh, there's a Secret History and the Goldfinch, is it?
Yeah,
those are the 2 I know.
There's another one in the middle that's less regarded.
Indeed. So if you want to play the predictions competition, it gives you a little bit more skin in the game when you're watching Mastermind. See if you're going to get points. Go to tinyurl.com/mm-23 and you can get your predictions in by Sunday evening at 9 p.m. And then you could be scoring points as well in our little competition. It's just for fun, unless you're one of our Patreon members, in which case the number 1 Patreon stands to win a prize. So let's just have a look then at Mastermind. What did you make of the episode tonight, Lewis?
Great episode. I was talking to a friend about it, and she pointed out there does seem to have been fewer sort of like 10-12s generally so far this season, which not a problem. But very nice, good bunching between all the scores on the 2 9s and 8 and a 7. Really good for your first bit, and then am I right in thinking that 3 of the 4 of them scored 12 in there?
Yeah, they did. Really high caliber.
Really high caliber. Phil for Scott particularly, but also Tom, both really good players. Obviously went to a tie break. It was just a really good episode. It was really, really strong. I thought, Ollie did really impressively. There's a couple of answers. Even that Chervil one, I thought was a really good answer in the tie break. Pulled that out well. You can tell that Ollie and Scott are people that are in quizzing circles because they had no passes. They've come to this with actual plans. They know what they're doing. But yeah, even Angela, who came last, like 14, 7, and 7 on these 2 rounds is really good. And I think it's been maintained a really, really strong. All the shows have been really strong, but I think a few years now, but Clive's really into his element with it. It just seems good. I think a couple of Steve saying it. There is always longer questions. Obviously, that's part of it. That's the format they go for. There's pros and cons to that. But maybe if the average was down slightly, that might be better. But yeah, I think it's been good and some really good answers. I love it when it goes to a tiebreak. I think it's such an exciting thing when it goes to a tiebreak on Mastermind. Yeah,
and we haven't had that many of them. I thought it was the first one this season. Other people think we've had more. We certainly had scores tied, but passes. Come into it. I think the interesting thing is, I've been in a tiebreak on Mastermind. My brain had gone by that point because the adrenaline of playing the first 2 rounds it's a bit. Well, I guess it's a bit like a footballer being flat out for 90 minutes and now there's 30 minutes of extra time. It's like have you got it in?
You have to go again mentally as much as physically.
And I didn't. Mentally, I was spent. I missed questions or answers that I should have got. Literally knew them, couldn't fish them out because my brain had just ground it. So the fact that between all of them, both of them, they got all of the answers. Gwen Stefani, I think, was unique to Tom, but Ollie picked up the other 4. Chervil felt like a very good pickup from Ollie. It wouldn't have come to mind for me to come up with that under pressure in Durrani. You could see him.
You could see him working for it. It was really impressive. That whole set was really, really impressive.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a good match. It's always good when somebody gets through with 20 plus.
Yeah.
And two of these players, in fact, no, three of the players, didn't they? We had a 20, 20, and two 21s.
Yeah, two 21s and 20. Really, as I said, really strong.
Yeah. So it was. So did I just say it was Tom? It was Scott, wasn't it? That was in the playoffs.
Yes, Tom was the one.
Yes. Sorry. I've
Sorry?
done him down. So yeah, very good performance. Now Ollie Hansen is a known player. We were at a buzzer quiz tournament at the weekend. You said he was there. You know,
Yes.
he's got the ability to do well in this tournament, in this show, hasn't he?
Oh, definitely. I really, from what I've seen of him before in different competitions, I think he's a really good player. I really fancy his chances especially because he seemed annoyed about a couple of things he missed in both his GK and his specialist. I think that'll be one of those performances that sort of like spurs him on to do better in the next round. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes the final from it.
Yeah, well, that's brilliant. Now, I have a message to say Eliza Dean is going to be joining us.
Great.
Hopefully, she is logging in as we speak. I will just send her a very quick message. And perhaps while I send her this message, I'll play a video about our Patreons. Huge thanks to our community of All Things Quiz members. Your support helps us to keep this channel going. It pays for essential running costs. Now, if you want to become a member of All Things Quiz, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/allthingsquiz. And from £3 a month, you not only get to support the work of this channel, but there are a range of member benefits available, including our monthly quiz. Hope to see you soon. And our monthly quiz is this Sunday at 8 p.m. It's going to be basically an individual smartphone-based speed quiz, and going to be a lot of fun. And we'll follow that with some more buzzer quizzing. Probably be a couple of hours, but the main quiz is an hour. If you want to come along, if you're not already one of our Patreons, you can go to patreon.com/allthingsquiz and sign up for a 7-day free trial, which means you can come along for that quiz without having to pay anything and just experience the joy of playing against some of the people you see in the chat here. The likes of Pam, the likes of Chris, the likes of Gerard. Come along and join our little community. What we got here, Valerie? Someone on X said the tiebreak was like penalties. It was certainly exciting. Update on the University Challenge front. 3 players seem to be coming in now. Whoa, our cup runneth over, and probably our.
We're going to try and be done in 12 minutes. Yeah.
We are very
good
happy
problems.
If they could join us. We would much rather hear from these players, because it was such a tight match. What's this from Pam? Hey, just some kind of nice emojis. And why did I say Gwyneth Paltrow instead of Gwen Stefani? Blushes with embarrassment. Why did you, Catherine? Why would you do that? So we're still waiting for the Christchurch crew to come in.
Do you want to talk about? We can talk about quiz stuff instead of just filling.
Yeah, let's talk about
the weekend.
Let's talk about the weekend. So the weekend, it was the Online Quiz League Buzzer Quiz Tournament. 50 teams gathered in Birmingham for a University Challenge style tournament, and it was just an immensely well-organised, well-executed competition, wasn't it, Lewis?
Absolutely huge. It was. Yeah. It's such a pleasure. Like, it just, joyful, start to finish. Arriving in Birmingham Friday to leaving Sunday afternoon. Brilliantly organised, brilliantly written. I thought I really enjoyed it last year was amazing. This year was so much better. Which is miraculous, really. But I just think everything was so well written, really fun. All the hosts and the readers, the scorers were great. Great organisation from the very top. Everyone who took part, but the teams, the quality was so good, ridiculously good. There wasn't a game that we had that wasn't fun and full of brilliant buzzers, brilliant answers, and most importantly, just not full of laughs. Like, we were just laughing all day long with brilliant people. It was just such a joy. I just really can't. I've seen, there's been loads of sort of people talking about it on Facebook and doing the big post wrapping up the weekend. And it's just been every single one. I'll read it. I'll give it a heart reaction, and I'll maybe give it a comment because I'm just so much joy from it. It was just brilliant to the amount of people, to have that many people who sort of semi know each other from the internet together in one place for a really fun, good reason. I talk to you every week, but it's only one of a handful of times I actually see you in person. I only saw you briefly, but great to see you. The amount of people that I talk to all the time, but I've never Anna Hayfield, former Only Connect finalist captain. We're good friends. I've never seen her in person before, and I spent loads of time with her this weekend. It was it was just so much fun to see everyone. So many people in the chat. Had a nice hug with Claire and a good chat at lunchtime. Only saw Pam briefly.
Yeah, Pam's really disappointed she didn't get to speak to me.
I bet she is.
That must have ruined her day.
I had a good chat with Mike McPartland Friday night in the Wetherspoons. It's so good, and just makes you realise how on early hours Sunday morning had one of the most fascinating less conversations, more just an audience with David Stainer. Which was just it was one of the most amazing parts of my life. I think probably it was incredible. It was just really one of the great weekends. I can't recommend it enough to everyone. I wish we could expand it to 1,000 teams because the more the merrier. Like 50 just doesn't seem enough. The amount of teams there are in the competition in the OQL competitions, and then people that just do this, they don't do other OQL stuff. It's amazing.
I think what was critical for me, it's great that OQL organise it. They had a brilliant team writing questions, verifying them, because I barely spotted anything out of step at all in a full day of hundreds and hundreds of questions. But Claire, 6.5 hours of reading, and I could still speak at the end, unlike the first year. You need the volunteers like Claire, or you don't have a tournament. And so we really appreciate everybody who gave up their time for free. Pam, I met Lewis again.
You're welcome, Pam.
Also, the joy of being beaten by Michael. Yeah, Pam also had the joy of being beaten by Michael McPartland's Team Northeast on the first
game of
the day. It was just tremendous. So it was a full-on day, and the tournament was won by Quiz Bowl Cabal, which is Evan Lynch, Dal Jackson,
Claire Jones, George Charlson.
Yeah, just again, we were absolutely walloped by them. But
yes, us too in the semi-final. Yeah,
they were just so good.
I've got to say this because this is I think every time I've been thinking about this for 2 days, it's made me crack up laughing. Really funny. During the semi-final, I don't know if this is something he does all the time, but twice George Charlson Dowd buzzed in on something, and before Dowd even gave an answer, George just went, "Of course it is." Or has to be, and it was just like I keep thinking about doing it. It's so funny. It's such a good move. But if Dowd said, "Yeah, probably, of course, it has to be," he's that good. They were phenomenal. They played a great final against Team Gita. It was really great. I love that everyone comes together at the end of the day to watch that final, spectate it. It was a really good one. Could have gone either way. And Quiz Bowl Cabal were behind for a good chunk at the half. They certainly were, but then Evan and Dowd turn on the boosters, get the ignition going, and straight off. It was a great game. Really good, some really good buzzers from both team. Tim Gita with Ben Russell Jones, the bad boy of Quiz. He was just absolutely on it all day. He always is. He's one of the nicest and funniest and strangest men I've ever met. But absolutely love his company. I think Sean Webb ended up top individual player.
He did, yeah.
And he's he's such a great guy, and getting to know him gradually as I have over the last few years, he's so interesting and kind, and has lovely things to say every time I see him. And his buzzes all day were just amazing. He takes it seriously, and he he's too hard on himself, I think, when things don't go quite his way. But some of the buzzes he gets are just absolutely phenomenal, and he's getting better all the time. So I could speak half an hour each probably on every single player that I faced this weekend. The fun that I had, some of the great teams. People that I've never met I've never met I don't think I've ever met Liam McCarthy in real life before, but like to meet him, just so funny. Had a great chat with him and Fraser Cameron in the bar afterwards, and it's just it's just full of that sort of stuff. It was just the best time. If you're not involved in OQL at all, you can be. Send me a message on Twitter or Facebook or whatever. I'll get you involved. And you don't even need to be involved in that if you want to come be involved in the Buzz Quiz next year. But even if you just come as a reader, as a scorer, or as like Anna was mostly just manning the refreshment stand. Joel Pitt was going around ringing a bell. There's a way to get involved for anyone in it, and it's the more the merrier. It's just such a good to have like-minded people together like that. It's so good. It's made me excited to go into the Wirral for the Merseyside.
It's quite the effect. Yes, but no.
And then to Oxford. I'm from Cambridge, so like going to Oxford's a big deal for me. But I'm going to do it in April for the pop culture buzzers because just can't love that vibe. Can't wait to get another taste.
Well, while we wait for Christchurch to come in, who hopefully will be with us before too long, let's have a quick look at Quiz Week, and we'll catch up on the news from the world of quiz, and hopefully by the time we're done with this, we will have our guests. So, Quiz of the Week last week was Evan Lynch. Oh, shall I? They here. Let us immediately abandon that idea and say hello, Christchurch.
Hello.
Wow, what a match! That was. Yeah, we were talking earlier. We had a tie-breaking Mastermind, a 1-point margin of victory in Only Connect, and it just went down to the wire with you. Eliza, it was your last late buzz that kind of sealed the deal for Christchurch.
I mean, as Alex has said on Twitter, I actually was going to say the same thing as him, but he beat me to it, and then it was wrong. So when he was the wrong, and then Amal said, "No, that's not right." I was like, "Goodness me! Like, what could it possibly be?" Sort of a flash there, but yeah.
Did you have flashbacks watching it? Because this was a game that was, each team landing blows on one another, but nobody managing to get a knockout. Was it?
Absolutely no. I would probably not one of the classics of the series, but no, the phrase "animal behaviourology" has sort of been going around in my head. Like almost on repeat for the last few weeks. But yeah, no, that was
by that.
yeah, that's sort of my sort of villain origin story, I guess. But yeah, no, I was almost like more nervous watching it than recording it. Actually, it's like you never really get used to it. It's like hearing your own voice.
I mean, when you're in the midst of it, do you just get kind of carried away by the flow of the game and the dynamics of it?
Yeah. Well, I feel like I don't know, I was saying to the rest of the team, we were watching it all like with our college as like a watch party.
Nice.
And I was saying that like I had literally had not got any memory of like some of the questions coming up. And I was like, I don't remember this being us. Like, what was that? Maybe I just blocked it from my mind or something, or it wasn't memorable enough, but I don't know.
I mean, it was just watching it. I mean, I loved it because I didn't know which way it was going to go at any point, even right to the death. I didn't have a clue. What I also enjoyed, Liza, watching you play, and I often appreciate this anyway, is when somebody gets a neg, as you did a couple of times, you just didn't let it put you off. You kept going for the buzzer when it could make you kind of retreat into your shell and think, a bit nervous. But how are you able to just kind of put that behind you and focus on the next question?
Well, I just sort of have that in our first episode where like I got a few things wrong and I was like, well, I maybe should just not say anything because like we were kind of at certain points ahead enough that it would like if I had just shut up and don't say anything wrong, just keep it together. But I think I got a bit lucky in this round with like I don't think I had to make too much of a mental effort to refocus myself. I think there were a few questions which I picked up from other people getting wrong, which is a bit less nerve-wracking because I guess the -5 penalty gets deducted at that point. But yeah.
And I do apologise because what I did was write down everybody's surnames. So what I don't have. So
why? That's on the screen the whole time. You wrote down the first names at the start.
Damn it! I mean, after 4 years, I still haven't got this right, have I? But as captain, Christchurch won.
Yeah.
How did the game go for you?
Yeah, it was a good. I remember. When we sort of went on and we had the introductions and they sort of they read out the scores between Emmanuel's last match. I think just sort of a shiver ran up the collective spines of the team.
Can I just make an interjection and say that the information about Harrison being the top, as much as I love Harrison, he's a very nice person, but Watson was actually the joint top scorer for that round, so I find it was slightly unfair that was announced because they both got 9. They both got 9 starters. So technically, it's a bit weird that they would pick one person.
Yeah, that is strange.
That is very odd. Did that fire you up with a kind of I'm gonna show that upstart?
Partly that, partly both being from Cardiff, sort of trying to put us on the map, I guess. But yeah, no, it was. I think it went well. I remember just being so. I could see myself kind of when the camera pans to behind the desk, the table. I could actually see my hand shaking, and I didn't remember that at the time, but kind of watching it back, I could see, and I'm sort of fiddling and. Yeah. So yeah, it was a real nail biter. Even then, even recording it, it was just so tense. But yeah, no, they were a fantastic team. They were and really lovely as well.
I said it on Twitter, and I loved it a few times. So the first time I noted it down was when Eliza, you buzzed in for 7, your first buzz, was when you can see people from both teams just hammering the buzzer at the same time. Have you come across Emmanuel before and kind of knew how they play and measured yourselves against them?
No, we didn't. We haven't played against. I mean, other than the information that we got about Alex being the top scorer, we didn't know anything about them. And also, since I do some quiz outside of University Challenge, I know some people, but I didn't know any of them. So I guess I wasn't pre-warned. I actually didn't realize that anyone else was buzzer racing for that one. I just
Do you guys feel any? Because I know that people that do the stats every week, one of the things they do, I see every week, is a Oxford versus Cambridge total to see who's above it. Is that an element for you guys? Is beating Cambridge ever something that you go, yeah, we've got to do it? Did that add any spice to the game for you?
I think for my parents and for my uncle it was. It didn't. It didn't really figure so much. I think. I think kind of when people have sort of seen the schedule and sort of people from our college and sort of from Oxford more generally have kind of commented on it. But not really.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
And again, apologies, but Christchurch, and apologies if I get the pronunciation right, Gorgiana?
Gorgiana, yeah.
Did everybody in your team kind of have specific roles? Because I remember there was a set on, was it exoplanets?
Yeah.
And people were, looking at you when you were racking your brains and you came up with that great transit answer, which, I don't know, it just struck me as, this is somebody who, if it's not their area, they're very, very well read around their area. Was this kind of the physics side, the astrophysics? Is that kind of your patch?
It isn't actually, no. So my research is focused on giant molecular clouds. However, I've attended a few exoplanet talks, so that's kind of where I've picked stuff up. But yeah, I was kind of the designated astro STEM person.
Yeah, I was mentioning during the match, to Malika, because I think it was the bonus set that you were talking about, Gareth, about exoplanets. And it looked like I was pretending to think. I was just there, I was like, I would never know the answer. I didn't see why I was doing that, imitation.
I mean, there's got to be a temptation, because if I was there and it was a science thing, I would literally be pushing my chair back, grabbing a glass of water, and knowing I couldn't contribute there. I mean, one thing that typifies the good teams, and I think your team kind of did it quite, is that ability to discuss amongst yourselves, work your way to an answer, and so kind of being present, even if it's not your subject area, it's quite important. It's certainly, I guess, for you as a captain. You're going to need everybody chipping in, even if it's a tiny amount.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I think that was a big, that's sort of a big kind of element of our strategy. I remember sort of on, and I'm actually in Southampton. I think on the bonuses we were probably a little bit weaker. I think, but on this one, you could certainly see there were lots of answers that we kind of arrived at. Sort of, I guess, we maybe took a little bit more time to sort of come to it, but yeah, kind of like sort of working through sort of process of deduction, like kind of everyone,
I remember in our Southampton match, we were like whispering as if we were like trying to keep things secret. And I was like, guys, we need to speak up.
And of course, in previous series during sort of the COVID era, people were all mic'd up, and it was easy for the captain to hear everybody. But it looked like those sorts of deliberations are a little bit harder now.
Yeah, slightly. I mean, yeah. So there's sort of like lots of. I was starting to get a bit of a crick in my neck. So like kind of looking back to where the captain sits. But yeah, no, I think it's far more sort of collaborative effort. I think this time around.
I guess there's also like the fear of just not saying something stupid, because like a lot of the time in quizzes, like if I say something, like it might not be as dumb as I think, but like sometimes it is pretty dumb. This is gonna be televised. Like I don't want to say something really stupid because people will be mean about it. I don't know.
I totally get that, but I think like the not having the vanity to be worried about that is like a thing that I think all the people that are the best at it don't have, right? And I think like some of the stuff you're doing when you were throwing off those, the neg didn't matter to you. Like seeing that was so good, and it was such good play because I never neg ever, and it means I'm rubbish because of it. Like I should be getting so much more stuff, but I can't let that go.
That's what I'm usually like, but like in this episode, I don't really know what possessed me to do that. The idea that like university challenge is like generally like the questions. It depends, but sometimes they can be like a bit easier than like general quiz. So when I hear something that comes up a lot in quiz, I'll just answer something random, which is why I said Iceland for the prose edda, because I was like, oh, the prose edda comes from Iceland. Let me just say that. Like they might be asking that, but it ended up being something completely different. But I think that's especially important skill for Only Connect, because like having played Connections Online Quiz League, blog for QL, you do need to like strategize through, because sometimes like you'll say something and it sounds completely out of nowhere, and then it ends up being the right answer.
Yeah. Or sometimes the amount of time I see it where someone says something stupid, but the stupid thing makes someone else go, oh, actually, what if it was this slightly different thing? And it just works your way around to it. Like, just don't ever be afraid to say stuff, ever, I think.
I mean, the worst thing in any buzzer quiz, and we were at the OQL buzzer quiz tournament at the weekend, the worst thing is sitting there with the answer in your head, waiting for a giveaway clue, and then somebody else buzzes in and takes it. I'd rather be coming in earlier with an intelligent guess and being wrong than have that, oh my God, I should have just said it. I've been sat there thinking it's Gemini since since clue 2, and it's now clue 7. And then I'll lose the buzzer race.
Whenever I do the whole thing that's like, oh, I actually did know that. Like, I should have said the answer. I feel like everyone hates me for it. It's like, you could easily be lying right now. Like, if I said, like, oh, I knew the answer to that question, I just didn't say it. Like, people would be like, oh, you're actually, like, talking nonsense.
I think something that I've noticed, like, kind of in some of, in both of our rounds, but and sort of in this series more generally, I have noticed, like lots of the questions kind of, they seem to be, like, very well written this year, in that kind of like gradually sort of like, even if you really don't know the actual, don't know it for sure, there's sort of like the number of clues to sort of add up. So like there are some that kind of invite.
It's a drop.
To invite.
That was the one with the Thomas Nagel one. Like I was kind of kicking myself for that, because I'm like the bat thing I had heard of before, but I couldn't remember what animal it was. And then when it said like hanging off the roof or something like that, I was like, what animals hang from the roof? This is not exactly, I don't know.
I mean that was kind of, I felt for it was Alagar, wasn't it? Because it's like, you've got the sound in your head, but you're kind of that, and you buzz when you think you're going to know it, and then when it doesn't quite come, you give the answer, and it's rat, and you picked up bat, and it's on such small things. A game that tight can turn.
Fine margins, really.
It was, but exciting for the viewers as a result. We also got Amol's probably most Paxman-like eruption with Zeno. We haven't had many of those this series.
Well, there was the tenses thing, right? Like, so basically, with a few, I don't want to like bait the BBC out on a live broadcast, but like they do edit in remarks from Amol. Like, I don't think Amol said that in the actual show. In our first episode,
anyway.
Yeah.
Did he?
I don't think he definitely just said the thing about Plotinus or Plotinus or whatever. He didn't say that in the show, but I remember like in our first round, I don't know if you remember, but there was a picture round on like a tense, and I buzzed in because like my mind was going so blank. It said tense and what was it? Tense and aspect.
Tense and aspect.
And I said like perfect indicative. And then like they edited in afterwards to say indicative is not an aspect. He didn't say that in the actual podcast.
How would you have reacted in that moment? Like you said, for the Plotinus or whatever it was today, and that one, is that the sort of thing that actually might put you off your game? You know, if you give an answer and you almost feel kind of ridiculed or put down.
In a way, but I don't know what you guys found, but I think that like I don't know what Paxman was like, obviously, since we didn't go on the show with Paxman, but like comparatively, like I felt like Amol gave a lot like more welcoming vibes, even though he does try and make himself a bit more Paxman-y. Like he did kind of make us feel a bit more relaxed, so like that was good in a way, as opposed to like these sort of like jibey comments, which I know the public enjoyed.
And I think like kind of, you know, as we talked about a moment ago, like I think his like kind of Amol's whole manner does kind of it invites more guesswork, I think, almost, you know, because he's just been very encouraging, like to all teams, you know, still plenty of time, so and so, like still time to get going. That's been one of his sort of catchphrases. So yeah, I guess a little bit felt a bit out of place to kind of see that Zeno, like but yeah, I think we might have been overdue one.
To be fair, but
One of the things that categorized the match for me, and there was comment online amongst the Twitterati, but it was the amount of conferring that was going on. But both teams, it felt to me, were doing a lot of conferring, not rushing through. We've seen previous matches this series where like Open were just like interrupting and trying to get as many questions in as possible. You clearly didn't get hurried as you're playing. Is that was just kind of natural gameplay from your side of things?
It definitely wasn't a conscious strategy. No. I think I wonder if it like might have been just a subconscious thing, because I remember in our round against Southampton, there was we didn't do so well on the bonuses, and I think perhaps if we just sort of taken like an extra beat to kind of sort of talk through things, we might have sort of done better on the Japanese films one on which we got precisely 0, couldn't name 7 Samurai Godzilla. I think just a moment longer kind of conferring might have done a bit better there. So no, like I can see sort of where some of the frustrations are coming from, and never make the mistake of searching your surname on Twitter after you've
no. But also never make the mistake of taking seriously what people who never put themselves up for a serious quiz think about these things, because they don't know what it's like. And I think a game like tonight, some games just have their own dynamics. If both teams are taking time, that dictates the pace of the game. If one of you was like zipping through it, that would probably have elevated the speed of the other team. Or if one of the teams had been a long way in advance, then I could see why you'd want to slow it down. But there's nothing to be gained from slowing it down. It just, to me, I just saw it as that was just the team dynamics. You were just thinking things through. You were chatting about them. You were coming up with things, not always kind of coming to the right conclusion. Because that Smetana one, as soon as I heard you mention it, it was like, he's got it. Oh no, they haven't.
No, yeah.
It's Dvorak Czech, because I feel like he was Hungarian, but like
I don't know. I
feel like it's like kind of blurry in that area. I don't really know. I think that if we had been hurried on by Amol, if he had said like hurry up, we would have gave answers. Like we were purposely trying to drag it out. I just find it kind of funny how, like, looking through Twitter, a lot of people were saying how long we were taking, but then the Imperial College Quiz Society, who have been known for their memes throughout this season, mentioned that Emmanuel College were taking too long to confer. So I don't know if we're mistaking them for us, or if they actually thought the other team was taking too long. But I feel like it wasn't just us, right? Like maybe
I think both teams were. Imperial did put out a meme of a skeleton on a park bench. But bless them. I mean, I think that's what you call UC bants or something. But I think they're it wasn't. I don't think it was meant with meanness. What were your favourite kind of gets? You know, you all got good answers through the night, whether it was buzzes or whether it was bonuses. What were your favourite answers?
Hard question.
Cardi B.
Cardi B. No,
your Cardi B knowledge. Yeah, that was
Great.
superb.
That was really good.
That's kind of along with animal behaviorology. That's been something we've been sitting on for a while.
I can't lie, I really enjoyed it when Watton said Lower Saxony. You just pulled that out of I don't know what.
Good. But no, animal behaviorology. That'll be on my gravestone. No,
ethology is haunting me now.
Ethology, yeah. But no, some of them like sort of have been like always the ones that I like don't trust is like the deceptive ones, like the Oscar Wilde described it as that sliver of patch of blue.
I was like, what else is it going to be? What could it be?
Sky,
and it was 3 letters, which helps. I don't know. We did have a thing like people were mumbling the answers when we were watching it. Like since we were watching as a group, people were like mumbling or saying the answers, and someone was like sky before I said it. I was like, oh, you got it. Gravitational lensing. I felt like that was good. Like the
that was
the addition of the last minute of gravitational. You were like lensing, gravitational lensing. That was quite tense.
Yeah. I mean, it was lovely. I mean, I say I liked, I love that Cardi B buzz, and then the kind of the bonus set was really good. There was some. I do love a flag, and the flag set was nice because they weren't obvious by any stretch of imagination. Well, Kent was fairly good, but the others weren't necessarily obvious.
Maybe to the ones of us, but the flag experts. What's it like? The vexillologists? Is that?
That's
yeah.
Always a useful skilling quiz.
Losers.
Yeah,
the flag of the United Kingdom at this rate.
Yeah, no, I mean it was just a great show, and it was punch for punch. Couldn't really tell, who was going to make it, but you got through. So I lose track. Is the next round quarterfinals, or is it?
Indeed, yeah.
So how long did you have between filming this one and the quarterfinals? And were you in a position to kind of regroup, take stock, and come up with how your approach for the next show?
Yeah, how long was it?
A month.
It was about a month. Yeah. No, I think it was sort of reverted to the COVID lockdown classic of a couple of times a week team calls. Teams.
One of us would read from the University Challenge quiz book.
It's remarkable how often teams say that they do that. I wonder if any of the questions ever kind of crop up.
I don't think we've ever re-cropped up that much. I mean, topics have re-cropped up, but they do, just as another backstage spoiler, they do practice questions to get you to warm up. And those practice questions have been ones I've heard before. Because I remember in every practice question session, I would always get one right, and then that would have no bearing on how I perform for the rest of the match. But it's like I would recognize it and like suddenly get like a science question out of nowhere because I remember it coming up.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Like exoplanets or something. Well, that was exoplanet. It wasn't like it was something else that they were talking about.
Was it the islands?
Something.
Islands. There was like a group of Greek islands came out. Was that in the actual?
I feel like that might have been in the actual. Don't want to give any spoilers. Yeah.
That's it. It's hard to remember what shows what, but yeah, I mean it's great. One final question because we don't want spoilers, but how did? So I'm kind of retreating away from actually this show, but how did your team get put together? What's kind of the mechanism of it in a smallish college, I imagine?
Yeah, kind of small. I mean, I guess so. I was the one who kind of did the team selection, but I did run the process. So basically what happened was we got sent, it's probably very similar to a lot of other colleges and a lot of other teams you've spoken to already, but we got sent a list of questions by the producer. And first of all, I got my boyfriend, who's also a quizzer, to go through that list of questions, pick out 40 questions on various different topics. I like wrote out the distro, and he picked questions from that he thought were like appropriate, and then did them on me, and then I got a score, and then I did the same questions on other people, and then did another set again afterwards, and then I guess we picked the highest scores. So
that's pretty much it. Yeah.
And what sort of interest did you have? I mean, how many people put themselves forward to take part?
Not a massive amount.
It wasn't. It's been more in the past. I seem to recall. It's always like fairly, like kind of it's like kind of healthy interest in it.
Yeah, I think it's got more hype this year now because we haven't been on since like 2012 or something. So I think this year, now that people are seeing us on TV, they're like, oh, I might actually want to do it. But like, it was quite nice this year, I think, because we had some like fresh faces, so to say, because I had been on the team before, we never were successful, and Arthur was on it once, but then Malika and Elliot were like both in their first years at Christchurch, so like seeing those new people was like, oh wow, like that's nice, they will get a chance this time,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's great, a great achievement to get to the quarterfinals. We don't know how far you go from there, but best of retrospective luck with that. And we really appreciate you kind of coming on at kind of short speculative notice from our perspective. It's always great to be chatting to UC teams. We don't get as many as we would like on here, so it's absolutely a delight to have all three of you on.
We've got one of our teammates working very hard on an essay right now, so unfortunately
needs must. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been great to have you. We are going to, I was going to say, we're going to have a look at a video, but I probably am all out of videos. So at this point,
you can play it twice. You can do the same video twice.
Yeah, I could do the same
There's
video.
no rules against it.
I'm gonna play our subscribe video. Christchurch, you are welcome to stay on as we talk about Quiz Week, or if you want to leave, that is entirely fine as well. But again, once again, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
If you like what we do here at All Things Quiz, then please make sure you click the subscribe button. Please also click the like button. That helps YouTube to recommend us to other people like you. You can also share our videos with others and click the notifications button to make sure you're alerted whenever we release a new video. Oh, what a great bunch they were, Lewis.
Really good fun people. I only I know of Eliza through other people that do Quiz Bowl stuff, and I only hear people say great things about it. But yeah, great bunch, great team, lots of fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, looking forward to, obviously when it's exciting when teams get through to the quarters, because it means that we are going to see them at least twice, which is great.
Yeah, which is brilliant. So yeah, congratulations to them, and thanks so much to them for coming on. Now, we were talking Quiz Week. So yes, Evan Lynch won the Pop Culture Challenge. What did you make of that final, Lewis?
It was a pleasure to read. I was delighted to be getting that, the job of hosting it. And it was a great final. It was a really good final, good standard from everyone. With Phil Small running Evan right to the wire. I know that Phil will be gutted to have not won. Second is nothing. And sadly, he's second a lot of the time. But hey, bless him. It's been said Phil would be probably the best quizzer there is if ever wasn't there in a lot of OQL things. It's not the first time he's been beaten in a final. Delighted for Evan, who remains just, for someone so talented, he remains like just a really humble and funny man. He's very with it. He cracks me up. He's just the best guy, absolute best guy. And with the win, the PCC win, he now is only one piece of silverware away from winning every single thing that OQL offer, which is absolutely nuts. He's in
What's the one he's missing? Is it Buchel?
He hasn't won. No, he's won that. He hasn't won Cockle.
Okay.
But his team Cardi B are in the final, the Tier 1 final.
Cardi B.
Cardi B, yeah, somehow a team of Stainer, Hugh Bennett, Ian Toms, and Bob DeCoe when we should probably strengthen.
And
somehow they got Evan.
I mean, by curious coincidence, Chris Dyson, I think we were talking about the University Challenge thing, but he show a Cardi B video. I don't think he means
he didn't mean
Cardi
that.
B because he then goes WAP.
Wow.
Which I think we all know is not David Stainer.
Well, depends on if you heard what I did this weekend. But incredible guy. And I mean, this is incredibly strong top three here. James, I thought was amazing on UC.
He's brilliant last week.
Brilliant. He was so good. I was annoyed that I couldn't come on talk about it because I was ill. Because he was absolutely lethal on the episode. It was really great to see. Really good episode. And Pat's Pat.
And Pat, exactly.
Nuts.
He's just at the moment he looks unstoppable in the Grand Prix. So Pat is doing brilliant, and of course he plays in everything else as well. Team of the week, Motley Crue won Online Quiz League Division 1. Very deserving winners there. Again, it's just our own Gerard, who is now playing some game somewhere, is part of that team. So well done to him and them. Second, here we go. Pravoplasirani from Croatia. They won the Croatian team quiz title. So well done to them. And then Open University were third. So that was last week. This is this week's nominations. And there are a lot of them again because there's a lot of stuff going on. So Eleanor Ayres. Oh, I should have said spoiler alert. Brain of Britain semi-final 3. Yeah, just close your ears and your eyes. Eleanor Ayres, she won a day of tiebreak. She won a tiebreak in the semi-final of Brain of Britain. Brilliant performance by Eleanor. She's a teammate of mine in Quiz League London, so I'm delighted to see her go through to the final. It's shaping up to be an absolutely brilliant final, looking at the people in it. Just so good. Jack Bennett, OQL Cup Full House. Not that many full houses around this week, so
it was hard. It was a hard set last week. Had a good chat with Jack in the early hours on Sunday morning. Great guy.
Is there anyone you didn't talk to in the early hours?
it was great. But he's so dry. He's really funny.
Yeah. Scott Blish, he is having. I mean, next week we will be kind of kicking off the World Quiz Awards process, and you've got to think Scott Blish is up amongst the candidates for
100%.
Quizzer of the Year because
he's lethal.
15 out of 15 in ICC, but he's won both pop solos and ICC in the same year. Highbrow, lowbrow.
He's an incredible player. I think funny guy, interesting guy. Really respect sort of how open he is about his health and his health struggles and how that relates to quiz. I think it's I know that your video on mental health, Gareth, has really helped him actually and really spoken to him. He battles with it, but for him to sort of, I know he took a bit of a break in 2022, sort of come back to it and be as strong as he's been all year, superb. And to try and maintain a winning streak in the ICC by going full house week 1 is pretty special stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there's been a number of championships and stuff happening. The Swiss championships happened at the last weekend. So they had a number of competitions. Prakar Gupta, who I had the delight of speaking to in Torremolinos a couple of weeks ago, he won their buzzer championship. So well done to him, individual buzzers. Germany has got regional championships going on, as you remember if you saw last week. Roland Knauf won the Bremen region. Tobias Knight, maybe Knicht, as far as I know, won the Southwest Germany region. Then we move over to America. Christian Kvamso. The number of people got 7 out of 8 in OQL, including a perennial Victoria Gross type. But
she will do that.
Yeah, Christian Kvamso was the lowest place, somewhere down, I think, Division 4 getting that. So fantastic. Now, that man again, Evan Lynch, OQL, and I've called it an OQL Golden Full House. I may have invented the term.
I like it.
But because he'd got a full house 8 out of 8 and then got his question in the tie-break rounds. He got 9 out of 9. There has to be a special term for that. I'm throwing Golden Full House.
I like it. I think it's a good choice.
It sticks. So yeah, well done to him. Now another perennial kind of finalist in Mimir competitions, Ben McIntyre, 14 out of 15 in pop solos. I don't know if have you played any of the American Mimirs?
Yeah, I've done. I'm not doing the current series of pop solos, but I've played a lot of pop solos before, and I've always really enjoyed it. I've not played any of the sets this season. I'm hoping to someone will play us with them as friendly at some point. But I really love what they do. It's tough stuff. It can be, particularly with this as a UK player with their sports, which can be so wide ranging. Sometimes they'll do something that's quite simple and it's supposed to be hard, which I love for sports, because it's just Premier League, or even the American way of looking at in athletics. They don't really care if it's not UK based, whereas I think we have a lot more of a general wide scope with the athletics coverage we have in this country. But it's really fascinating. It's just interesting to see the difference, as well. Like the small things. I was talking about it the other day with some Americans about how, because they're generally slightly younger, maybe only by about 10 years, probably is the average. And a lot of them have come through Quiz Bowl stuff at college, or then have got involved online, or just big Jeopardy fans. And there's a whole community around that, around SporkleCon, stuff like that. They do tend to just move a little bit younger than us, whereas we have a very traditional pub-based system that sort of then, coalesced through leagues, that sort of stuff. I think that maybe means that we lend older. But talking about those differences and trying to work out a path forward together is a really fascinating thing. And pop solos is a fantastic competition. I like that they have slightly shorter seasons than we do with Pop Culture Challenge, but they have a couple more each season. And it's a really good community, especially they have like an official friendly each week, which sadly OQL's UK's stuff doesn't do. I think should do, because I think it's a really good idea, and I keep thinking I should be bothered to make that happen, but I haven't happened yet. But they have like a really formal, like, this is the friendly of the week on a Monday, even in the off season. Sometimes they're themed. It's a great idea, great thing, great community, and they've got a lot of really powerful voices over there that are really making Quiz a more diverse, more safe, and more interesting place. I really respect the stuff they're doing.
Yeah, great stuff happening over there. Absolutely. Now, we had a write-in nomination, and we'll go through that in a bit, how you can send in nominations. This was for Emma Napper. She got 19 and 7 of her own in the OQL Cup. And this was against the Motley Crew. So the Division 1 champions. And I think their team had just been relegated from Division 4, and they beat the Motley Crew in the Cup. So a performance like that against opposition like that, superb from Emma, as well as getting 6 points in the Mastermind Predictions competition. What a week for Emma. In China, Zhang Jun won the episode 8 of the Chinese National Treasures quiz show. More information coming up on the poetry quiz show. Phil Small, the only QLL full house of the week. And that was a pretty awesome performance from him. Jason Stalachi in another 14 out of 15. Now, Rajan Thambahali, there's a individual knockout tournament in Switzerland. He won that. I'd be interested in finding out how that works, because I don't think we have anything akin to that here. Rene Vasmer, the Baden-Württemberg regional champion. Sean Webb, top points per game in the OQL buzzer quiz. We touched on it at the start before the UC folk came in and we were talking about the competition. But, we know Sean, he's been in the Quiz Omnium, he's played Quiz Bowl, he's University Challenge, I think he's done. I mean, he's a superb player. But, I mean, in a field like that, how good do you have to be to kind of top the rankings?
I think really good. It's not like... there are always in buzzer stuff. There's always teams where they have an amazing player, and maybe the other people aren't. They're getting points. They're making inroads, but they're not quite as on the level of the others. He was in a really strong team of really great players, but he was just that much more than all day. They were unlucky to probably not make the semi-finals. It was a really tough group that we were in the semi-finals of the cup. The group of the cup in the afternoon. Sorry. We snuck through again in front of another 2 teams on like points per game, like the smallest amount that possibly could. But yeah, Sean just was incredible all day, on such a range of topics. A lot of players they've got their silo, they've got their half of the highbrow lowbrow divide, and Sean, that's really I think he's now that quizzing and like the guys that run the GP have started doing like monthly rankings on the different subjects. I think if you look at those, like he's like top on like his like civilization, history, and lifestyle or something. You know, he just it all goes in for him, and he's just interested. He's a voracious learner, and he retains that stuff really well. And he's quick on the buzzer. You know, he's really got it all.
Yeah, superb player. Torsten Zirkel. This is where I was glad I looked at the original German because the translation said it was Torsten Circle, which may be that Zirkel is the German word for circle. Anyway, he won the Lower Saxony Championship. Marcel Zumstein is the Swiss national individual champion. And Chris is throwing in Lower Saxony have a horse on their flag, you know, as we learn in University Challenge tonight. But yes, Marcel Zumstein, the champion of Switzerland. Wonderful. Congratulations to him. And finally, Ollie Hansen, who we saw earlier winning Mastermind. Team of the week. I didn't do my colours. This looks messy. Anyway, all sorts. Now they're a good team anyway. They've got Kevin Ashman, Gavin Fuller, but they had a big win over the QLL Division 1 leaders, Grey Monks. Grey Monks are still top, but all sorts have kind of hauled them back into the pack. So well done to them. Joel Frank and Moritz Schäfer, Southwest Germany pairs champions. Hannibal's Lecturers, great name. Southwest Germany's team champions. Länder Pokalvierer, Erna Stauermann, the Baden-Württemberg region team. And that one, I wish I had kept the translation because I would have been able to read that one better. Little Quiz Ruhr, Lower Saxony's team champions. Now, Matunga Mandrum won the Asian Quiz League Premiership final in the last week. They went in there as underdogs against Remembrance of Things Fast, who had not lost a game. They were 100% in the whole tournament, Remembrance of Things Fast, and they got solidly beaten by Matunga Mandrum. So well done to them, winning the Asian Quiz League Champions. It's the first all-Indian final of that tournament for quite some time because the likes of the Americans, the Victoria Gross, etc. They've been playing and making the finals, and some Brits, Pat Gibson, etc. So well done to them. Nikolai Simon and Rene Vassmer, the Baden-Württemberg regional pairs champions. Sudden Guinea Pig Plant in Nowhere, Bremen region team champions. Sunday in the Park with George Costanza. They
Good
beat.
name.
Oh, yeah, it's great, isn't it? Beat OQL USA's Division 2 national leaders, so well done to them. Then we got Quiz Bowl Cabal, and we touched on them before the UC folk came in, but they won the OQL Buzzer Quiz Championship. It is hard to put into words quite how good that team is, quite how early some of their buzzes are, and how aggressive they are, and how comprehensive their knowledge is.
They're just nuts. You know, they've got it all. They've got they come from Quiz Bowl background. That's where they met. That's why they know each other. But then you've got two guys that are in the Pop Culture Challenge final playing for them. You know, and they can just do it all. And yeah, with such speed. I always feel like I've lost before I even started with them. I think we were ahead maybe after one question in our game against them. But it's one day I will beat them. I look forward to that day. But so often I feel like there's almost like a psychological matter now that it's just I know how good they are. And in that game, me and Evan went through it afterwards against them. Like with the team like with me and Jack on it, you'd expect us to be getting a lot of pop culture stuff. But it wasn't until like question 15 or 16 that we got any pop culture starters. It was just they were just absolutely on everything, and they're amazing team, amazing guys, really funny people as well, like just witty, interesting people. I know that there's often a sort of almost a town and gown quiz divide sometimes for some people, but I think if you reach across it, you'll find a lot of fun and more in common perhaps across the two sides if you have a chat and a laugh with people.
Indeed. So yeah, brilliant from them. We also were ahead after one starter against them.
Hey, congrats!
It's probably about 9 or 10 starters later that we got another one. They were just that good. Marcel Zumstein and Praka Gupta won the Swiss National Pairs Championships. Some mob called Video Nasties won only Connect tonight. That'll do wonders for YouTube's rating of this video. And Christchurch, Oxford won University Challenge, as we saw earlier. So you can now vote at tinyurl.com/QW20nov23. Voting is open until Friday night, when we'll announce the winners. Get your votes in. Such a cracking set of nominations this week. As we get towards the end of the year. But let's say next week we'll be talking about the World Quiz Awards, and all of that's kicking off. Sign-ups. So yeah, I mentioned about the All Things Quiz on 26th of November on Zoom, and that you can go to patreon.com/allthingsquiz and join for free for a week. And yeah, Chris made a comment, oh, he'll quit, do the free week and come back. But no, it's well, hello. Didn't mean to quit that. So yes, so that's a chance for people to come along and experience it, and then maybe if you like it, enjoy the quiz, then yeah, consider supporting the channel and being a Patreon. That'd be great. But just come along, have fun. Doesn't cost you anything to come for the first time. Bundesliga are starting their next season on the 4th of December. So go to the Bundesliga web Facebook page, and that will tell you more. There is a Quiz Bowl tournament called Arcadia, which is being held on the 9th of December, I believe, at Imperial College in London. So if you're into Quiz Bowl and you want something that's probably, it's not the easiest, but it's not the hardest tournament, then consider applying for that. Again, the UK Quiz Bowl website and Facebook page have details on that. The Quiz in the North, which is a very kind of fun written quiz plus team quiz thing. That's happening in Wakefield, also on the 9th of December. I think Dave Bill is running that. That'll be a cracker. And the Chinese Poetry Quiz is now open for anybody to apply. Deadline is 1st of January. There's a QR code there. If you want to scan that, that's probably easier than me trying to put in the URL. Scan that and you can find out more information. You will have to be a native Mandarin speaker. That aside. Yeah, and you can nominate anyone for Quiz of the Week and Team of the Week, tinyurl.com/ATQ nominations. So don't forget about that. Now, there was one other thing that I didn't cover earlier, which I just want to mention, is that every day on Facebook and Twitter, we have lunchtime quiz time. Thanks to those of you who've been sending in questions. We release a question at 12 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, we give the answer, or 2 o'clock-ish, we give the answer and some more interesting information about the subject. So this was today's one. Just to give you an indication. Sometimes they're hard, sometimes they're easy. Hopefully
I love them.
They're always interesting.
I enjoy them every single day. I never reply to them because I don't want to look embarrassed if I get them wrong. But every single day I enjoy them. I can't recommend them enough.
Yeah, Valerie puts a lot of work into it, and we love it when we see different people chipping in. And yeah, and we also love it when people send us questions. So look out for that Facebook or Twitter every single day of the week. That is it for this week. You know, when I said it was going to be a short one this week and I wasn't going to be talking.
I mean, I've seen the mistakes you've made, and I'm going to write you a dossier, and we're going to work on them next week.
Oh Lord! I mean, yes. I mean, yeah.
It's an hour and 43 minutes. I mean, I'm still tired from Saturday.
I mean, I remember the days when it was like 45 to an hour. But now it's just
it's a lot. But the good thing is, the reason that it takes so long, and the reason that we chat, there's still a handful of people watching, which is surprising. But I'm glad you guys are here. It's because we have so much to talk about, and we have fun things to talk about with interesting people. And it's this weekend again. Stop talking about it, but it just shows you there is such an appetite for this. And for people talking about this stuff, because people love it, and it's a fun thing to be part of. So, I'm delighted to be here, even if I'm absolutely knackered. And it's been an enjoyable nearly 2 hours talking about this with you.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. It was we didn't intend. I think it was such a nice surprise to have the three from Christchurch on.
Exactly. I mean, look, Gerard's back.
Yes.
That's how long we've taken. Gerard's back.
Yeah, Gerard. You're catching us with the finish. There's a lot to catch up on. There is so much happening in the world of quiz, not just the TV shows, but all the stuff that's happening. And it's a big wide world, and there's room for an awful lot. And we want to shine a light on it all. So long is one thing. As long as it's not boring, That's the main thing.
Damn
We
right.
will be clipping some of this stuff out, so we will be doing, some short highlights for YouTube Shorts. We'll try and bring out kind of OC specific ones and UC specific ones. So if people only want to watch that, they can see that. But we will also try and aim for an hour next year. And hang on, what's this?
You're gonna fail.
I spent 30 minutes on Motley Crue's OQL. Yeah, you missed that, Gerard. But Steve says it's great behind the scenes insight. So, and that's what we try and bring you. Try and bring you stuff that enriches your experience of watching the shows. Lewis, thanks so much for coming on with your, in the wake of your monster hangover. And I'm impressed you made it through. Thanks everybody for watching. I don't know whether to thank you or congratulate you if you're still here, but thank you so much. And thanks to everybody who's chipped in and commented. Thanks to our guests from earlier, Harry from the Solomons, and for our 3 friends from Christchurch. Don't forget you can vote for what is question at tinyurl.com/WITQ South, and you can vote for Quiz Team of the Week at tinyurl.com/QW20NOV23. We will be back next week. I'm probably going to have to get some like electric shock thing in my seat to stop me from kind of going
give
on.
Valerie the control.
Any suggestions welcomed. But yeah, we'll be back next week. Thanks again, Lewis, and see you again soon.
Bye.